Hey everyone, welcome to the reading for today. I'm going to do a collective reading for you guys in a second, and we're going to see what the message is for you at this time. Keep in mind it's a general reading, okay? It could be past, present, or future. You're going to know best how this resonates for you. All right. Now, before I get into the tarot, I do have quite a download that came through last night. I accidentally tapped into someone's energy, I feel, or spirit tapped me into someone's energy. And I have a lot of messages for you, okay? So I tapped into an energy of someone that might have recently acted out of fear, all right? Or you might have done something because a feeling came up where you might have been scared of what would happen, okay? So basically the energy that came through last night is that there's someone here where, and I've tapped into your energy before, okay? So that's how I kind of recognized what was going on, is that this felt a bit familiar in a way, okay? And it's the energy of someone where you might have gone through a traumatic experience in the past where something ended up happening to another person and you feel like maybe it was your fault in some sort of way, or maybe it's more the energy of like feeling like, or wondering if there's something that you could have done differently, or thinking to yourself, well, if I had done this differently, or if I had done that, then maybe I could have avoided this, or something bad wouldn't have happened, right? And that came up again last night. And I feel like it's because there's something that you might have done in the recent past that actually stems from this experience, okay? Now, what Spirit showed me to try and help me understand here what's going on in your energy is there's a memory that came up for me, which was, I remember when I was younger, my mom was crying, and it was because she had found out that the doctor that brought me and my sisters to the world, okay, had died in an accident. And it was because he was driving an ambulance, or he was driving in a car, for emergencies, okay? And he was going too fast in a roundabout, and he ended up crashing. And I think that Spirit showed me that memory, or it brought it up for me, because I feel like whoever you are, I feel like the person that crashed the car, this doctor, right? The way that Spirit showed it to me is that at some point in this person's career, they must have gone through an experience where somebody might have either passed away or something bad may have happened, and it wasn't their fault. If you're a doctor or you're an emergency responder, of course there's going to be things that happen on the job that are not your fault. But if you're someone that is like you drive an ambulance and you're trying to get to someone on time, or you don't get there on time, or you don't get back to the hospital on time, you might take over responsibility for that and feel like, in a way, in an indirect way, you could have done more to avoid that bad thing from happening, even though, realistically speaking, there probably wasn't more that you could have done, right? The sad fate of this doctor, though, was that fear or that traumatic experience probably really manifested into their psyche, where in every situation that they were in after that point, that fear came up of being too slow maybe, or having to drive faster, or having to get somewhere faster, because that that fear creeps in of like, well, what if I don't get there on time? And what if I don't make it on time? What if this person doesn't get back on time? So they start driving faster and faster and faster and faster. And inevitably, unfortunately, really sadly, this person had a horrible accident, okay, that ended up taking their life because that fear had manifested itself that way, right? And I don't know why Spirit brought that up for me, because that was something, it didn't even happen to me. It happened in my childhood, but that came up from my subconscious. And I feel like whoever you are in the collective, you must have a job that is very, very high stress. Okay, that's what it feels like. Or it feels like something very high stress, where you're operating on a fear basis a lot. Okay. And I feel like you had something similar happen in your life at some point that still kind of sits in your soul a little bit, that you wonder, like, could I have done more, or was something my fault, or did I give enough? And I feel like this, how should I say this? I feel like now, no matter how much time has passed, even now, even today, you still subconsciously operate with that in the background. And I don't really know if you realize it or not, right? But I do feel like there was something that happened here in the recent past that triggered that response again, in a way where you might have felt like you have to act quickly, or you have to do something quickly in order to maybe save someone else, or out of fear that something bad could happen. And that was the energy that I was like, I've had this energy before, of somebody that is scared of bad things happening, or feeling like they need to act very quickly to avoid bad things from happening. So Spirit wanted to show me that whoever you are and whatever you did, it wasn't coming from a place of like taking a bad risk or doing something deceptive or being sly or sneaky. It was actually coming from a trauma response that you have, like a fear response, okay? And something kicked into your psyche here where you felt like you might have wanted to act quickly to save someone, right? Now, the other thing that came up here yesterday was that if you're someone that like has a high stress job in some sort of a way, or a very high stress life, okay, generally, where you do let off, or you get into a lot of situations that there's fear that comes up a lot, there's like a flood of hormones that you're putting out like on a daily basis, okay? So Spirit really wanted me to touch on that you've got probably very high levels of adrenaline, high levels of cortisol, and things like that are running through your body on a daily basis, okay? What else did I write down? I wrote down so much. Like last night I was on the couch and then it like hit me and I was like, I have to write all this stuff down before I forget it. Oh, right. So one thing very important here is that Spirit wants you to know, okay, that whatever might have just transpired or just happened, your spirits and your guides, they don't want you to feel bad about what happened, okay? They don't want you to feel like you did something wrong, or you made a mistake, or you did something that you shouldn't have done. Like, they don't want you to feel any kind of regret for the fact that you did something because you were scared. And that's what Spirit definitely recognizes, that whatever happened, it was because you got scared. And it's almost important that it did come up that way and it did happen that way, because now you can confront that, or you can see it for what it was, right? And it's going to actually help you in the future, right? It's nothing to feel ashamed about. It's nothing to feel bad about, because you were genuinely scared, I feel. And everybody has made bad decisions, including me, okay? Including me. I've been scared in situations, and I've done things that afterwards I realize, I do regret doing that or saying that, okay? Or maybe thinking something about a certain person because it came from a place of fear, all right? Or, not being able to trust the world around me, right? And everybody has a different trauma, okay? Or everybody has a different thing that kind of gives off this fear. But I feel like for you, it's very specific, tied to an experience in your life where you feel some sort of guilt, okay? Or you feel some sort of regret about how something happened, and feeling maybe a bit of responsibility for not being able to save someone, not being able to help someone. And now you have this fear of that happening again, okay? And your guides and spirit also want you to know that they have seen that you have actually, in the past now, okay, however long this recent past is for you, if it's months, years, whatever, they've seen that you have actually gained a lot of wisdom, okay? So the choices that you made in the past now, whatever just transpired, it actually is not as bad as you think it is, because you've actually gained a lot of wisdom. You've learned a lot of things, and you've implemented a lot of that wisdom, and that has actually helped. You actually made really good choices, okay? So, Spirit is not mad at you. No one's mad at you. I don't feel any kind of anger or any kind of disappointment, nothing like that, okay? Right, so here's where we get to the very important part of this whole download that I got for you, which is, what came to me is that you're running right now, you're running on a primary emotional response, and that is fear-based, okay? So it's also because your bond to your intuition has not been, well, it's there, but I feel like it's not the primary emotional response that you run on, right? So when you're getting into high stress situations, your primary emotion that comes up might be fear. And I feel like that's just out of reflex, okay? Or just out of the way that you've, like, all your experiences up until this point. So when you get into high stress situations, the first emotion that might come up is fear or caution. And that's kind of what you're running on right now. But your spirit guides or spirit, they want to show you maybe this about yourself, so that they can help you in this, connecting back to your intuition more strongly. Because if you make your intuition your primary response to situations, then you don't have to have fear, right? Because it's almost like fear kicks in every single time because the intuition is not there, or the intuition is not so strong, it's not so pronounced. So your body or your mind, it doesn't, your body doesn't really know how to assess the danger, because you're not tuning into your intuition when there is danger. So your primary response is just fear, right? Maybe different levels of fear. It's not always the same amount of fear, but it's definitely more fear-based than it is intuition-based, okay? So this situation is actually going to help you use that fear that keeps coming up and turn it into power, okay? You can alchemize this feeling that keeps coming up for you by practicing and tuning in more to your intuition, okay? Now, so I don't know if you guys watched that little video that I made about intuition. This might be something that is coming off of that, okay? So I don't know if you guys want me, I mean, I'm kind of basically doing a whole reading on this thing again, or a whole video on this fear thing again, but I feel like this is for someone very specific. That's why I'm doing it in a reading like this, okay? But if you want more information on that, let me know. I can also do a separate video just talking about this stuff if you want. Now, again, when you can learn to use your intuition in these situations, and your intuition will then tell you if there's danger or not, right? Which then helps you filter out if there's a reason to have fear or not. And see, again, we're going back to this example of like this EMT, this ambulance person, right? And that's where if you're in a high stress job, it's almost vital to have this kind of a tool with you, because you're going to be in situations a lot that actually require you to have a certain level of adrenaline and a certain level of, fight or flight kind of a situation, right? Because there will be emergencies, or there will be fast-paced things where you have to act very quickly, right? But it's important that in those situations where that is not required, because maybe the emergency is not as severe, or it's not really present, that you don't always have that extreme bodily response, because I feel like it's doing a lot to your body, and it's doing a lot to this hormonal output that you have on a daily basis, because your body or your mind, your gut doesn't, or your intuition isn't quite telling you like there's no danger or there is danger. So you're just having this fear response every single time, right? And it could be making you act on the fear prematurely, because you haven't, like, it's almost like the fear is bigger than the voice inside that tells you everything is fine, everything is fine, you don't have to, you can calm down and relax, right? So whatever just went down, see this as like an opportunity for you to learn more about yourself, right? Or understand yourself better. It's really not as bad as you think it is. And you really didn't, I feel like something happened, okay, it was a mistake, right? But you don't have to feel bad about it, and you don't have to be so hard on yourself about it, because this is actually like the perfect opportunity for you to see something about yourself, so that you can use your fear and turn it into the training tool for your intuition, okay? Because that's the perfect way to do it. That's the perfect way to train your intuition, is by replacing fear with intuition, okay? And that will make life a lot easier, right? A lot less stressful. So I've also been called to get an oracle card, okay, today. Haven't done one of these in a very long time, but Spirit was like, no, we're doing an oracle card today, all right? So let's see. Now, you don't have to be a divine feminine, but there's good messages in here for everyone. So let's see. What's the message say, Spirit, for whoever this is in the collective? Mio Shan, the Princess of Mercy. Yeah, you need to give yourself mercy, okay? Giving is receiving. The energy of the universe is merciful. And I find that to be actually really beautiful, because you can also give yourself mercy, right? For the mistakes that you feel like you have made. Now, I don't know what happened back then, okay? And it's going to be different for everyone, right? But I feel like it's not necessarily important right now to, go into that situation, as much as it's important for you to see that whatever happened back then it's still sitting deep on your soul, and it's affecting how you make decisions even today, okay? Especially when it comes to like feeling a sense of responsibility and feeling a sense of wanting to make sure other people don't get hurt, or feeling like you want to save people. And that's not a bad thing, okay? That's really not a bad thing per se, that you have that drive to want to make sure everyone is okay and make sure nothing bad happens to people. It's actually good, and it's commendable, because your heart is in the right place. But on the flip side, on the other side of the coin, if something does go wrong, Spirit doesn't want you to feel like it's because of you, or because you didn't do enough, or because you weren't fast enough, or because you should have acted differently. It's like you can't put that burden on yourself and feel that guilt and carry that guilt forever. Okay? And I feel like it has a lot to do with forgiving yourself even, right? Because things happen, bad things happen, okay? Yeah, what else? The other example that came to me was like in Stranger Things, where Hopper unfortunately had the daughter that passed away to cancer as a child, and that was out of his control. And so, you know, he tries to stop Elle from doing anything crazy because he's scared that she's also going to pass away and he can't do anything to save her. But it's giving me something like that, where it's like, you can't live with that guilt, you know, and you can't go through life feeling like you have to be the savior, like you have to be this, keep everyone safe, because then it's, again, this other side of the coin with that is that if something does go wrong, you're going to feel like you failed. And you didn't fail, because I feel like whoever you are, you did as best as you could. You did as much as you could in the situation at the time. And even if something does go wrong, it's too heavy of a burden to carry this forever. You know, even if there's still emotions that you have to work through from the past, making sure that the decisions that you make in the future don't come from like a fear response, or this trauma response of like the fear of it happening again. Okay, so let's see here, the Princess of Mercy. (108). Okay, so I'm going to read through this here. When your soul selects her card, okay? The author, Sue Monk Kidd, articulates the process of empathy so clearly when she writes, "Empathy is the most mysterious transaction that the human soul can have, and it's accessible to all of us, but we have to give ourselves the opportunity to identify, to plunge ourselves in a story where we see the world from the bottom up or through another's eyes or heart. Empathy is mercy's twin sister. When we can feel into the reality of someone else's suffering, we open up to the possibility of mercy." And that is so interesting that that comes out, considering that I knew last night that that spirit was tapping me into someone else. Okay, I knew that it wasn't my energy that I was feeling. I knew this was for someone in the collective. And through that, it's making me feel like, you know, Spirit wants you to know that you are either receiving mercy, or you can give yourself mercy, you can give yourself grace, okay? Mercy comes from the old Etruscan merce, which means exchange. Mercy is the embodiment of compassion. Yeah, give yourself compassion. And that looks like, you know, put down shame or guilt or regret, you know, because you did as much as you could. You know, you're really carrying a heavy burden around with you when you feel like something bad happening is your fault, and it's not. It was a response. Even back then, whatever happened, you were responding out of maybe heightened emotions, okay? And even with whatever just happened in the recent past, you were acting out of fear, and that's not something that you should be mad at yourself about, okay? Give yourself compassion that you were scared. You were scared, and that's okay. People get scared, okay? Sometimes we have fear and we don't know what to do. And fear can make us do crazy things, okay? Or it can blind us from thinking rationally, right? We don't really make good decisions when we're scared because our body kicks into fight or flight. And, you know, your brain kind of turns off. It goes into the, you know, the very primal part of the brain where it's like, you're just functioning at that point, right? So you have to give yourself compassion for the way that you've handled things in the past as well, right? It can feel easy or even natural to have compassion for people who have never harmed us personally, but mercy is having compassion for someone who has. Yeah. I mean, that's one flip, that's one side of it, yeah. But I feel like there's, again, there's something that happened to someone else, like someone was harmed in some sort of way and you're having a hard time having compassion. Or maybe, see, I don't know if what exactly happened, but maybe you're also wondering if that person understands, or if that person has forgiven you or something like that, right? You're wondering about forgiveness. Mercy requires that we give something of ourselves, which is symbolized by Miao Shan giving her eyes and arms to the king. It can feel like a great sacrifice to be so giving towards someone who has given us nothing but suffering. Here's where the magic comes in. The law of the universe is merciful. The more we give, the more we receive. When the king realized the profound act of mercy his daughter bestowed on him, Miao Shan transformed into her true manifestation as the thousand-armed Qian Yin. Miao Shan is a reminder that giving is the true receiving. When we refuse to release our anger towards someone, we're blocking the flow of the universe within us. We are not harming the person who harmed us by remaining angry. We are keeping ourselves from receiving the love and light that is already ours. And soul voice meditation, who can I give mercy to in this moment? Man, I feel like for someone here, it's yourself. Okay. I feel like for someone, you have to give yourself mercy, right? And, all right, so with that being said, let's get into the tarot reading, okay? Yeah, you can transmute, you can use this opportunity to transmute this feeling. Like, you don't have to get stuck in this time loop or thinking back to what happened over and over again. You can use this time or this moment to transmute the past and make sure that in the future you tune in more, right? So this is a huge opportunity for you to start training your intuition, because it'll help you make different decisions, and it'll help you conquer your fear. Okay? It'll help that fear to dissipate. Okay? It really will. So let's see. What's the message for the collective today? All right, we have the Four of Wands in reverse, the Six of Cups in reverse, and the Ten of Pentacles. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Swords, and the top, we have the Tower. Okay, so this has something to do with moving out of a house, losing a house, losing a sense of stability, okay, leaving home. The Six of Cups in reverse, bad memories of the past. And the Ten of Pentacles, a lot of money, a family legacy, bad memories of the past. And this has something to do with losing stability, losing a sense of security, something that felt stable and secure. Okay, let's see what this is here for you. Why is the Four of Wands in reverse here? The Devil. The Three of Pentacles in reverse and the Hierophant. Okay, so we have Capricorn and Taurus energy here. This has to do with a bad collaboration, okay? Not working together with others. The Hierophant, the snake, the devil. Okay, I'm gonna have to clarify more. What's the Six of Cups reverse? The Emperor, the Eight of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so there's an Emperor here that I feel like is freeing themselves from some sort of mental imprisonment, all right, or feeling stuck in some sort of way. So the Emperor is coming out with these bad memories of the past, or some sort of regret in the past, or something in the past that, yeah, it feels, I mean, the Six of Cups in reverse is also sometimes like childhood trauma, right? The Ten of Pentacles in reverse, losing a lot of money, losing some sort of an inheritance, some sort of generational wealth. Okay, why is the Ten of Pentacles here? The Seven of Swords. Somebody is lying, cheating, stealing, being deceptive and manipulative. Justice. And the Four of Cups. I mean, we have Justice here, we have the Hierophant here, but then we also have the Devil and the Seven of Swords. So this is kind of like a battle between good and evil, right? Judgment, or between the light and the dark. Tell me more about this. Why is the Four of Wands in reverse here? The High Priestess and the Nine of Wands. Yeah, tapping into your intuition. This has to do with you tapping into your intuition, listening to that intuitive feeling that you have. The Nine of Wands. Not giving up, being a fighter, a wounded warrior. Defending yourself, protecting yourself, your strength. What's this Four of Wands reverse though? Change. And a mature man. A mature woman, a mature man, and change. So this has to do with something changing here when it comes to moving out of a house or leaving a home. Moving out. Mature man, mature woman. Something about parents maybe. Okay, so maybe something happened when you moved out of your parents' house, or what is this about? A house, journey, taking a journey to a house, traveling to a house, a journey. Yeah, okay, so something about a home and traveling, or something about leaving home, maybe moving very far away. Leaving home and moving very far away, maybe. Why is the Devil here? The King of Wands. The Tower and the Seven of Coins in reverse. What's the Tower? I mean, the Devil can also be someone's anger. I mean, it's kind of making me feel like whatever happened here in this home, okay, it's making me feel like mature man, mature woman could be someone's parents. Like moving out of your parents' house, but moving far away, leaving home. Could be because of someone being very angry and being very controlling. The Devil being angry and controlling. Could have been a reason why, you know, you went towards being a Hierophant, or if that's your title here. The runner, you might have ran away from something. A fear. This card says on here, fear. Running away because of fear. Running away because of fear. This has to do with you healing your heart and being able to heal from heartbreak. So you ran away because of fear? Or something happened because of a fear response or being scared of something. And this is going to help you heal your heart. Realizing that whatever you did in the past might have been because you felt like you needed to protect yourself or defend yourself, protect yourself in a way because of being scared. Like you were in fear of something. You were scared of something happening. The Nine of Wands, that's why you left. That's why you went far away, possibly. So why is that feeling eating into you then? Because of the Grim Reaper. I don't know if someone passed away. Maybe, I don't know, this is making me feel like maybe you feel someone passed away because you weren't there to protect them, or you weren't there, you weren't around. What's the Tower? Imprisonment. Stuck in a tower, imprisoned in a tower. A child. This is making me feel like something like, even maybe something happening to a parent when you're a child. And then thinking like, well, if I had just been older, or if I had just done this, or if I had done this or that, then, you know, maybe I could have made a difference. But it's like you were a child. Like whatever happened here, I feel like you were young or younger, or even if you were just a teenager, like you were just younger. It's making me feel like you just weren't mature enough to really realize what was going on, maybe. It kind of looks like, you know, moving out, like you're 18 and you want to move out and you just want to leave as soon as possible and just want to move far away and you want to get away. Okay. Or maybe this is a sibling. I don't know. Maybe a sibling? There's someone here that you feel like you couldn't protect from something. The Eight of Wands in reverse. The Wheel of Fortune, the Six of Wands, and the World. So this is about closing out a cycle here. This is about a cycle in your life. It's a chapter in your life. The wheel, the world, it's all about a circle. So something is coming full circle for you. Something is coming full circle. It's coming back all the way around. Okay. The Two of Wands, it has to do with a choice that you made here to have a new beginning, or a choice that you made to take a leap of faith. Or maybe the Fool is fear, a choice that you made out of fear. I feel like it's more about a choice that you made out of fear, a choice that you made when you were scared, at a time when you were scared. Yeah, it's really going to help you. Like, this is going to be a catalyst for you to understanding that there's two ways that you could go. And one way is following fear, and the other way is following your intuition. Right? But there's a choice that you made out of fear. And I feel like it's kind of shaped your life a bit. The Ace of Wands in reverse. Well, it's actually kind of blocking you now from taking action, or it's blocking you from having new inspired ideas. So your fear has now become your blockage, or it's become your limitation in a way. The Nine of Pentacles in reverse could have something to do with feeling scared of being independent. Or what is that about? Nine of Coins reverse. Being charmed or used, enabling and boundaries, an empath narcissist paradigm. What was that? Something just cracked here. Something about having boundaries with a narcissist, or being charmed and used by a narcissist. Calling someone up on the phone, thinking of someone, letting someone know. So some sort of a decision that you might have made where you called someone on the phone and let somebody know something. Yeah, you did it out of fear. And that's why Spirit wants you to give yourself mercy, okay? And don't feel bad because you were scared. It's just important now to understand why you did it and where it came from, and that it's actually it's almost like a symptom of a deeper cause, right? Which is, I feel like, the fear of not being able to save someone, or the fear of wanting to stop bad things from happening and feeling like you can do something to make sure it doesn't happen. I feel like that's the deeper root issue here, okay? So, and that's not a bad, again, that's not a bad thing, but you're putting a lot of responsibility on yourself, because, like, again, like, what if it doesn't happen? Like, what if it doesn't go that way? Then you're going to feel like you failed at something, or it's your fault, and Spirit does not want you to feel that way. Okay? Your spirit guides do not want you to feel like it's your fault, right? Paradise. Happiness, expansion, joy, playfulness. One is enjoying each other. Paradise. A mirror. Introspection. Mirroring each other. Relationships reflect our wounds. Yeah, it's just an opportunity for introspection. Really. It's not a mistake. You didn't make a mistake. It's an opportunity for introspection and to look at this this wound that you have here, right? Because once you figure out the wound, once you locate it, like, you know, like under a microscope, right? Once you locate that one cell that's like causing havoc in your life, you can then do something about it. Where the next time that fear comes up, you can regulate that. You can learn to self-regulate it, right? So why is this Emperor here, Eight of Swords reversed? The Seven of Wands, yeah, trying to block something, defend something, protect something or someone, okay? Feeling like you're the defender, the protector, feeling like you need to protect people or protect everyone. Like, I feel like you take that very seriously, that you are the protector and you are the defender. And that's a great quality to have, right? It is. Like, that is a very pronounced aspect of your character, I feel, is that you see yourself as being a protector, right? But that feeling also gets triggered when you're scared, right? And I feel like spirit wants you to like this is a superpower that you can almost like cultivate, right? But it's almost important that you have to control the superpower. You have to see it like, this is my superpower and I have to control it, right? Because fear will almost like short circuit it and make you apply it even when you don't have to. And it'll like it's almost like fear is overriding your system a little bit, right? Sometimes. So you can cultivate this and learn to apply this with full force at the exact perfect time. And also at the same time learning how to, regulate the fear attached to it. Because I feel like the feeling of fear and the feeling of protection, they go hand in hand with you. It's like the fact that one was it's like the protective aspect is the stimulus for the fear, and the other way around as well, right? The fear stimulates the feeling of needing to protect, and the other way around as well. And it's better to separate those two things, because then you can actually cultivate your superpower. And it's better to have this superpower of protection coupled with another superpower, which is intuition, because then you're unstoppable, basically, right? The Queen of Pentacles in reverse and the Queen of Cups in reverse. Whoa, what is that about? The past. I mean, these could be, like, if I'm talking to a masculine energy, this could be women from your past, like past girlfriends or past exes. I don't know. It feels like past women or women in your life, important figures in your life, okay? But they're both coming out in the reverse. That's not making me feel very good. That's almost making me feel like, especially with the Queen of Cups in reverse, which can be someone who's highly emotionally manipulative, or they like to play the damsel in distress a lot. There might even be an aspect here where somebody, they saw this in you. Like, they saw in you that you're someone that when you get scared, there's a very strong protective instinct that comes over you. This almost feels like someone intentionally manipulating that, which is not very good in your case, because it's almost solidifying the connection between fear and protection, right? Yeah, there's something about those two things that have like intertwined in your psyche that they need to be untied. Tell me more about these two women here. These two feminine energies. Okay, take out what resonates. Soulmates. Yeah, look, addiction, soulmates, codependent, obsessive, possessive, and controlling. So these look like past energies in your life, okay, past feminine energies somehow in your life that were both, or multiple of them, they were both possessive, controlling, but a bit codependent, like a bit like addicted to this feeling, okay, that you, so it's really giving me that there's feminine energies that are addicted to the energy that you give off, which is like a very strong protector and provider, right? So that seemed very how should I say, like they enjoyed this aspect of you, I guess I could say, right? So it's almost like they might have tried to manipulate this out of you also by knowing that you get this way when you're scared, right? So it's given me a bit of damsel in distress, like, and a bit of like addicted to you being this role of a provider and a protector and a, you know, a nurturer, and like, you know, coming to bat for them, and like, oh, I need help, can you come beat them up? Yeah, I'm on my way, you know, like that kind of a thing. Right? But the thing is, look, fear of intimacy, it played on your fear. But it was playing on your fear. And I feel like it's really important for you to look at this aspect of yourself, realizing that you were not, you are a provider, you are a protector, a defender, and, you know, you have this very strong protective energy around you, right? But you might have thought in the past that the way that you were acting towards these feminine energies in your life was coming from that sense of, I want to protect them, I want to be there for them, I want to make sure nothing happens. But actually it was coming from this fear. The fear of something happening, the fear of not being able to stop something from happening, the fear of being too late, coming too late, the fear of, you know, not being able to, you know, how should I say, save them, right? It's like, because your brain, I feel like your brain, it can't tell the difference. But your brain and your fear response cannot distinguish the amount of danger that is present. So you're constantly having the same exact response, no matter how big or how small the danger actually is. And that's kind of what I was going back to the beginning, where you are, you're constantly using fear as your primary stress response, right? But it's going to always be the same level because your brain can't distinguish the danger like your intuition can. So, you know, if Queen of Cups in reverse is calling you on the phone and saying, oh, you know, somebody just ran into my car and I need your help right now. Your stress response, I mean, it could even just be like someone just hit, like they just tapped the bumper, right? Like nothing happened, no airbags, no crazy thing. Like they're in the parking lot, the cars weren't even moving, someone just bumped the car. But because it's coming up for you, this feeling of, oh no, someone, you know, I wasn't there and something happened to them when I wasn't there, it's making this whoop, like it's coming all the way up, right? And it's almost like that is so much cortisol and so much adrenaline, right? But there's definitely people in your past that knew that you had this response. So it's a bit concerning for me to see that this might have even been something that was intentionally manipulated out of you, right? It's like, oh, like swoon, like, oh, you're my protector, but it's actually a trigger, you know? Yeah, spirit does not want you to go through life or go through relationships, even if, I mean, I feel like you don't do this consciously. Like, I feel like this is very, very subconscious. Like, you don't actually think this logically, but the way that spirit is presenting this to me is that it's like your spirit guides, your angels, they don't want you to go through life constantly reliving some sort of a trauma of a fear of loss or a fear of something happening to someone. You know, in a way, in an indirect way, you are reliving that trauma every single time you feel like someone needs to be protected. And I feel like spirit does not want you to carry that with you, because if you know, because it's not your fault. Something is just not your fault. You know? Yeah, this fear is very important for you. I can really feel that. I can feel that. It needs to be untangled. You need to untangle it. Because I can feel it, like, shoot. I'm like having a hard time kind of describing this, but I can feel the rush. Like, it's like a rush. It's like a woof, you know, every single time. It like really yeah, I don't know, but it can definitely be untangled. Like, you will still, once you've dealt with this fear, you're still going to feel that protective energy. Like, it's not going to go away, right? Because that is like an innate part of you and who you are. It's just that, you know, you're always going to be that way. You're always going to have that, but Spirit doesn't want you to be that way out of fear. Spirit wants you to be that because you are that, because that's who you are, right? But not because of fear. Okay, that's really important for you. So, so it's the Seven of Swords. The Nine of Swords, yeah, stress, worrying, anxious, anxiety. You know, I feel like this is you. I feel like you're very stressed. Like I said, high stress. I feel like you're someone, you have a high stress job as well, okay? You got a high stress life. You got a fear. Nine of Swords is fear. Fear, stress, anxiety, and a lot of it. It's intense. It's very intense emotionally and mentally, okay, to deal with that on a daily level. Yeah, the Empress and the King of Cups and the King of Swords. Okay, so now we have masculine energies here. So just flip it how it resonates. Okay, you're going to know who you are in this energy here. The Three of Wands and the Knight of Cups. Yeah, so this is about you looking towards the future. Look, the Knight of Cups is you have a huge heart. Really, you have a huge empathetic heart, right? You're very empathetic. You're very, like, I feel like this is you, okay? So you're highly intelligent, King of Swords, extremely, extremely intelligent. And at the same time, you're extremely, with the King of Cups, extremely emotionally in tune, okay? You have a huge heart and you're extremely smart, all right? So this is like your superpower, really. It's like your intelligence is a superpower, but your emotions are also a superpower. And your emotions here being tied to controlling your emotions and leaning into your intuition more, okay? Because if you want to be a master of your emotions, fear is also a part of that, right? You have to learn to control your emotions. It's the same way as controlling your thoughts. See, I feel like you've already mastered this. I feel like you've already learned how to master your thoughts. Like, you are the master of your thoughts. You don't let your thoughts control you. And now it's like time for you to do the same thing with your emotions, which is you control your emotions. Your emotions don't control you. And that is like the superpower here. And in the middle is like the Empress. I don't even feel like the Empress is a person as much as it feels like this. It feels like, this feels like your mind. Your mind, your body, your soul. It's the Holy Trinity. Your mind, your body, your soul. That's really what I was getting here as well, is that the Empress is more like the intuition, okay, because she has this like halo on her, right? The soul. You being tapped into your soul and your intuition, and this being the strongest energy force here between the mind and the emotions, right? It's like the master of the thoughts, the master of the emotions, and then the intuition in the middle to guide you through everything, right? So this is the path that you're on right now. This is the path. And that's why whatever this happened in the recent past is totally okay. It really is. It might have been a little bit of a mistake, but you don't have to feel bad about it at all, because you're actually on this path to mastery. Okay? And this little thing that happened is just another, it's literally like a old part of you, which is this fear-based part of you, or it's almost like it's a part of you that you hadn't quite like, I mean, maybe you have seen yourself this way, or you have thought of this, but it's like it was, how should I say this? Like it came up for you again, right? You know, it's like kind of popping up like, hey, you forgot me, like you haven't healed me yet. Like, look at me over here, this little wound. I'm still here. You need to look at me, right? And it has to do with mastering your emotions or mastering fear, and also understanding where exactly it comes from, right? Yeah. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Closing words here for whoever you are in the collective today. The Hanged Man. Seeing something from a different perspective. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just try and see whatever happened from a different perspective. It wasn't a mistake. It's not something you have to feel bad about at all. You don't have to be hard on yourself. You don't have to sit there and think, oh, why'd I do that? It's all my fault. That's the thing. Why are you sitting there and telling yourself that something was all your fault, or that something went wrong because of you, or you were the one that didn't do enough and that's why this happened? You know, it's not your fault. Okay? You know, I feel like that's another really important part, because that's the other side of the coin of the fear, is that when something doesn't then go the way that you hope it does, you turn that on yourself and feel like you failed in some sort of way, right? So you're sitting there going, why, I did this and I made a mistake and gosh, like I feel so bad. You're giving yourself the blame again. You're feeling guilty again, and you don't have to, because you made a mistake, maybe. Okay, we all do, but you were scared. You were scared. All right, you were scared. And that's just how you're going to keep having reactions until you're like, okay, yeah, I was scared. All right, so figure that out, right? And again, seeing it from a different perspective, as in using this opportunity to look at your past and how that maybe still influences you to this day, right? So it's not a mistake, it's an opportunity to learn, right? Just like in school, right? When kids, they write the word wrong or bad grammar, it's not a mistake, it's an opportunity to learn how to, you know, fix the word. That's it. Okay? So everything is fine. The Queen of Wands. And the Five of Swords. Somebody doing something deceptive, manipulative. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is also someone that needs mercy or compassion or something. I don't know. Somebody doing something manipulative or deceptive, or the Knight of Cups in reverse. Yeah, a lack of compassion, a lack of mercy, or a lack of forgiveness. A rejection. Okay. The Knight of Pentacles and Nine of Cups. Yeah, it's about this is, I feel like, about you feeling bad. Okay. I feel like you feel, I'm just going to say how the cards are coming out, okay? I feel like you just went through something where you felt really bad, okay? Maybe you felt bad about yourself, okay? Maybe you started feeling rejected, or feeling like you didn't do something good enough, or like you messed up the plan, okay? Or you're not smart. Like, there's so much negative self-talk that has come out in these four cards. There's so much negative self-talk here. And it's actually making me quite sad. because I feel like it's all coming from this one wound that you have that's so deep within you that makes you feel like there's so much pressure on you to get it right. And if you don't get it right, then it's a failure. And if it is a failure, then that means you're a failure. Okay? Or like you feel like you have to be the best, be the smartest, be the, it's all of this negative self-talk is coming from this fear. I'm pretty sure. A feeling like you are the one that has to save everyone. You are the one that has to protect everyone, save everyone, stop bad things from happening. And if you don't, then you're the problem. And that's just not true. That's just not true at all. Okay. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't. You did great. You did a great job. You learned a lot, okay? You implemented a lot of wisdom. You did a great job. You're learning every single day. And that's the important thing, okay? Is that you're learning every single day. No one is perfect. Nobody's going to get it right. People will make mistakes. Everybody gets scared. Everybody makes bad decisions when they're scared, okay? I have too. So don't be so hard on yourself because, look, you did something because you were scared, right? Yeah, this is about your past, okay? So this message today is for you to look back at your past, or maybe even look in your childhood, because I feel like you're going to find something there. You're going to find something in your childhood. Yeah. You're being so hard on yourself. It's almost like you're telling yourself that you're only good enough if you succeed. You're only good enough if you save everyone. You're only good enough or worthy enough if you make sure that everyone's fine and everybody's saved and nothing bad happens. But what are you expecting of yourself? I mean, that's like, I feel like that is a burden that's very unrealistic for almost anyone in the world to carry. It feels like a heavy, heavy burden of a lot of like guilt. And you don't have to carry that. You don't. Okay? Yeah, there's pain here. There's pain. This is, okay, look, again, look what comes out again. Bad memories of the past. Something in your childhood. There's like a traumatic memory, or when you were younger, there's something in your past that was traumatic, I'm pretty sure. Okay? And this has caused you a lot of pain. It's caused you a lot of pain, a lot of heartbreak, or it was something in your past, in your childhood, that was very, very heartbreaking for you, all right? Very hard to deal with. But I feel like you feel to an extent that you've healed this. And maybe many aspects of it you have managed to heal through. But there is something here that still remains, and that is a huge fear of it happening again. Okay? So I hope that this will help you maybe free yourself from some sort of an imprisonment. And this imprisonment could even be something like the self-imposed imprisonment you've put your mind into, that it was somehow your fault. Okay? You can free yourself from that. You can. or at least free yourself from the fear that keeps you in this cycle of, you know, fear that it'll happen again. There's definitely something here that you can free yourself from mentally, okay, by looking into this. So I'm going to leave this message there, okay? I hope this helps. I hope that it reaches the person that it's for. And with that being said, thank you guys, and until next time, bye.